What is going on here? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we're actually going to be continuing our Does It Drift video series where we purchase vehicles in-game, build those cars up to drift spec, and then test those cars rigorously to see if they have the ability to be drift cars. Today has been a demanded one, and it's building into our last Does It Drift episode, the one where we did the head-to-head action. Well, we took the Rapid GT and the Schwarzer, and we showed you the differences in how one car is separate from another, and really all cars in GTA, although similar in the sense that they can drift, are so different. And today we have the 900R, which in the four-step platform from the Futo to the Schwarzer to the Rapid GT, this comes last in that section. You go from the Rapid GT to the 900, and this is pretty much, well, you're going to have a big conflict in the community. It's too touchy. I don't like it. I mean, no like it. It's no good. And I say, no, it is the most responsive, quickest drifting car that we know of to date. Most slippery? No. Fastest? It's, again, up for debate. But the whole fact of the matter is this is my favorite drift car in the game. If you want to line up all the drift cars and say, what's your personal favorite? Not what's the best, not what's this and that. What's your favorite? This car's been holding it down even since I was in the single gear drifting technique, months and months back. $700 just to fix my dang car. So if you guys are at all acquainted with Initial D, the anime, well, first off, if you're not, go get yourself acquainted. Initial D, YouTube, Initial D, Stage 1. Here's the deal. I think well, he's in a couple different stages, but I think Stage 5 is when they bring in the FD3S opponent. And Stage 5 is when he puts a little money into his car, and this is more so what it's looking like. Now, this is the black sheep version of it, but it's definitely that's what inspired this. So we're going to be going over this build and showing you what it's about and how you can get yourself something similar. So armor, definitely no armor. Brakes, no brakes. Bumpers, we went with the front bumper, but you got a lot of options on this thing. A lot of crazy options. I like that, too. There's a lot of cool stuff on this thing. Engine, looks like we went with the carbon engine block, but again, obviously you're seeing there's a lot of options here. Strut brace, and this is one of the coolest things about what contributes why I like it so much. Aside from the Comet, this is the most customizable drift car on the market for performance on it. I think when you're keeping it in performance versus the Comet, this thing has it beat too, so. Engine tunes all the way up. That one's one of the crucial ones. We're running the twin cans. I like to run cannons usually on this. I don't know why, but of course we're modeling it after the Initial D car. Not exactly what my preference is, so we're doing the twin cannons. Explosives, fenders. Which fenders? The rear ones, the rear fenders. So you can go with the rivetless. I'm thinking probably these rivetless ones will be your better look. But the thing is, once we get into hood, I'll explain that. That's going to be the next thing. Hood, you're only going to have a couple options for hood that don't have those, well, you actually have a bunch of options. You actually only have one option that has those arches, so that's the deal. Or the rivets, I should say. Oh, there's another option there that has the rivets, which is a very common one. This was my preferred run, but a lot of people run this one. A lot of people run that one. FD3S Black Sheep, this is modeled after the Dodge Viper. Yeah, you're correct. It's predominantly modeled after the Dodge Viper, but it's probably closest in the drift world to the RX-7 FD3S. Interior, you're going to have a bunch of interior. We went with like the stripped down dash and steering wheel and some seats. Did we do the seats? I usually keep the seats stock. That's all just going to be preference stuff. Livery, you do have a few liveries. They're pretty basic. This one's really common to be seen. Same with this one, really common. Camel one here is also quite common, probably in third. Lost theft, you get that when you buy it. Plates, we just put the black plate on there. Respray, that's going to be up to you. It looks like you do have the trim color too. You can mess with the color of your seats. It's another cool thing, you know what I'm saying? Roof, I'm pretty sure you can just take the roof off. Yep. Again, I'm not a big fan of the whole roofless drift feel, so yeah, you'll never see me running that kind of stuff. I think we kept the stock skirts because I like the way I can shoot into that chassis there, that gap between the tire and there. We're going to have to talk about that when we stance it, but we'll get to that here in a bit. Obviously, any of these ones will be to your option, though. You can throw whatever the heck you want on there. Now, spoiler, they used to have this thing set up to where it did not affect the traction. It was just already into the car, and now they've actually changed it to where you can mess with the traction through the spoiler again. So as much as I used to run, what was it? I think it was this one that I used to run just because I really like the look of it. I don't run it anymore. Simply, even on my preferred builds, I don't. Suspension, I do run the street suspension. I am a big believer in street suspension on this car as well. Your next in line, again, is going to be sports suspension with just a slight more, I don't even know the word or words or how to explain it. It's just different. It's a slight bit different. I'm not sure if it's more traction or more just touchiness or what it is, but you get a little bit more with the street suspension and a little less with the sports. Now, if you notice on the back, we got that little lip. That's going to be under the tailgate, and this does not affect the traction. This is what you're going to have to start it off. It's kind of a basic, whatever that is there, kind of little wing thing. You can shave down the trunk lid and just make it, you know, nice and smooth. Again, that looks pretty nice, actually. I like that look. I do. You can throw in what I did with the bolt-on ducktail. I like the look of this best. Just, I think, because the rivets there really fit the rivets across the whole build. And then you're getting into carbon stuff, which is a whole different build there. You can just really carbon this beast out. Transmission, one of them crucial things. Definitely that. Turbo, you definitely need the turbo. Wheels, I suggest either muscle or SUV. But actually, we got sports on there. No, this is SUV. I'm going to show you right now. Wheel type, SUV, stock. They are the Obey RSs. And the reason I went with those is because pretty much everything here, you see that there's chrome. There's a chrome accent to like everything. Other than one other one. That's the one we got. There's the one. These look not good at all. Which is why a lot of people will run the sports, because there's a lot of the solid black option, obviously you can see in there. But it's a little bit more sticky, guys. You're not going to get away with quite as much running sports on this beast. So I got the SUV on there. It's my preferred run on this. Windows, we got that dark smoke, and that is doing it for the build. It's a little bit more of an intricate build, but the things you really need are to get the upgrade. You need to get the basic Banshee. Then you need to upgrade it to get the 900R. You upgrade that here at Benny's, of course. After you get that upgrade down, then you're going to start going in. You need the transmission, the suspension, the turbo, and the engine. All of those upgrades need to be had. Now, you're going to get it out, and even if I think you can build this thing for like right around $850,000, but realistically, you can put like $1.5 million. Get this thing to track. Alright, so I actually chose to bring it to the team track. This is a private track. It's not released or anything. And I don't mean to like throw it in your guys' face, because this is actually a track that we bring the public to a lot, quite often. We've come here probably on 4 or 5 separate occasions. So it's definitely not like private in the sense that, hey, you guys aren't allowed to ever come. Let's not even talk about this, because we need to talk about the stancing. Stancing on this car is like, it's fundamental that you do it in a certain way. And you can see the smoke piling out right there. It's not horrible, but it would definitely, if we took off with it like this, you don't want your drift car smoking. So how do you stance this car? I know a lot of people have this question, and especially people new to drifting. How are you stancing the car? If I stance it normally, it will start smoking on me. It'll start billowing smoke from the front, and that's not good. It's going to make your car backfire. It's going to rip you out of your drift. So don't shoot the tire. Don't pop your tire because you don't have bulletproof tires. And don't shoot your car. You don't want to leave bullets all over your car. You're shooting in that little area right there. That area right in there, all right? Right in there. That's where you're shooting. Now, I'm pretty accurate, and I play free aim, so I don't have to worry about... I just hold her on down and mess with my right stick a little bit. Keep it right in that area. If you're not good with aim, don't do it that way. Do it with like a... I think maybe a heavy sniper can work on this, marksman rifle. Just single shotting, too, by just pressing the trigger quick and just placing very, very strategic shots. I actually go a little higher up there, but... Oh, son of a... Alright, so the game glitched a little bit, or maybe I just sent a bullet into it, one or the other. Game glitched. That probably sounded like an excuse, but really that's kind of what happens. It doesn't like that you're shooting it. It's like glitches on you a little bit. Let's give this thing another shot. Make sure you're parallel to the wheel as well, so you're not actually sending a bullet in at an angle. See, so we stanced it up in the front, there's no smoke. That's how you gotta do it. Now the rear is weird too. I think I can stance it normally on this side, actually. So you can stance it up normally on that side. However, on this side, you're gonna have to go just right back in this spot, alright? And yeah, you got that bullet hole on your car, but it is what it is. You're all stanced up in the Banshee, you're set to go. It wasn't hard to do, it's efficient, it works every time you do it that way. You need to figure out what you're doing wrong if you can't stance the vehicle, because I know there are some of you out there that like are giving up on drifting because you can't get your rapid stance or you can't get your Schwarzer stanced. I'm going to be making a whole video. As I said, my intent of this week's work is to... I want to tie up the loose ends that you guys that are new to the channel don't understand about drifting. So how to stance your car. Again, we're showing you the Banshee 900R. We just showed you the Schwarzer and the Rapid GT. We're showing you all the kingpins of the drifting and all of the crucial fundamentals that you need to know before you move on to stuff that we're going to be doing, like Pro Line Drift Series for gift cards and stuff like that. Like, that's going all the way up the ladder, and that's where some people are expecting to go with their Futo that just learned how to drift, and that isn't so far from reality, guys, that we need to start teaching everybody what we know, guys, and not be the people that are like, oh, we already know this. This is stupid. Why are you wasting our time? Like, yeah, I haven't drifted this car in a long time, guys. I cannot lie. I can't act like I have. Although it's my favorite, I have been 98% of my drift time has been in the Rapid GT as of the last, like, 4 months. The last event, I went in the Viserys and had a great time. The new car. Had a great time in it. And my file corrupted. 3.5 hours of recorded event time, and my file corrupted on me. I was quite upset when I turned it on to look at it. Man, this car is very, very unique. I don't have it down yet, that's for sure. I need to get my practice in on this thing because I'm sucking it up. This might have to be the... Well, as I was saying, the Viserys episode, it went out, and I had a licensing event that I needed that footage for so I could, you know, get everybody's exact gamer tags. So I pretty much, like, I killed the event, and it was completely worthless. It wasn't worthless because, of course, you get to get on and affiliate with people and have a good time. But the problem is like, that was all information that I needed. I needed every bit of that information, and I would have loved to have the footage just to make a video out of it to help the channel. And it's all gone. When I started it up, it said something like, please reacquire content. It's like, what? Yeah, okay, let me just reacquire that content real quick of the 3.5 hours of a public drift session. That seems, yeah, all right, awesome. So I was telling you guys a little bit in the Rapid GT versus the Schwarzer video that when your car shakes right away, if you stance it, then don't worry about it too much. The Rapid GT is one of those cars. I can hardly talk, guys. I just want to link this line right here, and I can't hit my clutch kick right. How did I not get it there? It's almost like I need a single gear out of that. Better. I think that this car kind of, this car's the most that I've ever brought back my single gear technique to help me out around certain corners before. It's very, very kind of rewarding to know that technique with this car, which is odd. I mean, it's very odd. Honestly, I don't really recall using this car at all in the last couple of months. All of my experience was in the beginning when I was, you know, kind of learning it and getting it all set out. I had a lot of fun in it too in the beginning. I could see why it was a good car right from the get-go. There it was. That was the one I was looking for. With time will slowly come perfection. This car is really about throttle control and feeling it out. This might shock you guys, but for cost, as expensive as it is, keeping in mind what you're getting out of it. Being aside the limited colors in the game, you can mod in other colors in the game, of course, to the Social Club crews, but this thing is a 9 out of 10 for cost. Now, why isn't it a 10 out of 10? Well, it's not a 10 out of 10 because they're overpriced in the game, guys. Are we really going to, you know, act like these Benny's cars and some of these new cars that released aren't, like, obnoxiously overpriced? Like a car that would be modeled after a $40,000 car, real world, is $900,000 in the game. That's grossly inflated. All right, so this car is vastly more expensive. So I need to give it a 9. That's going to bring us into driftability. Now, driftability is where people are going to argue and debate and disagree till the sun comes up and the moon goes down. All right, that's just how it's going to be. I don't think we're ever going to make everybody happy on the driftability. Now, I'm giving you guys pretty much the most raw and like unbiased review on these that I can for the scoring. Of course, I love it, and you know, it's a great car, but here's the thing. It is a phenomenal drifter once you figure it out. You guys seen how much I was sucking it up in the beginning. Well, if I choose to show you, right? So driftability Part of me is like, give it that 10, man. Give it a 10. And part of me is like, man, you know the community. Man, you know that part of that community is like, it's a 4 or 5, maybe a 6. Like, I got to go with 9, 9.5, 9. Could it be a little bit better? Yeah, it could be a little bit better, and I know it was better the first week it was out in the game. It was phenomenally better. Now, everybody as a community in GTA, not the drift community, but the community of GTA, cried about how the Sultan RS and the Banshee 900R, their handling and their speed, and blah, 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 blah. So they messed with both cars. They were both already in the supercar class, but they messed with both cars to make them more handling to fit the supercar class. Instead of just unique vehicles to themselves like we initially had, things like they organically made for us. And at that time, this car was a king drifter. It was handling some of the best lines. I've seen some original footage of it, and you can tell it's substantially better. So I got to give it the 9 without blabbing on forever. I got to give it the 9 on driftability, bringing us into efficiency. Now, I think the biggest place where people would say, well, I know he's going to hit us on efficiency here, is going to be the stancing. And the big thing with the stancing is, although you have to stance it weird, it's very efficient once you do stance it. However, I do still have to hit it because it's more difficult to stance it in the sense that we did than it is just to stance a normal, like Rapid GT or Schwarzer, where you can just shoot the lower part of the disc brake and she'll just drop twice and good to go. Like, you got to kind of methodically plan this one out. It's the same with the Viserys and a couple other cars too. You got to really plan out your motive with it and how you're going to get that thing rocking and rolling. And once you figured it out, though, once you figure it out, though, guys, like I was about to say, you're good to go. You can stance it up and get. So I'm going to hit it slightly, but I'm still going to give it a 9.5. So it's a 9, a 9, and a 9.5. So that's a 27.5. Pretty dang good score. Pretty dang good score. 27.5. The Schwarzer and the Rapid GT scored a 29. So, I mean, technically, if you're just going off of numbers, there's technically a little bit better, right? But it's not just that comes into play. We've kept in cost. We've kept in the little things like stancing and damage and things like that. That's a little thing we didn't talk about with this. You only have to do a little bit before the hood pops. The hood will pop up. Oh, it didn't do it. Wow. But now I do that. But the other ugly thing is the rear. Once you smash that rear window out like so, now it's a little bit silly looking. Like I said, you notice how it really shakes now too, so it doesn't like to take a lot for damage. It's really kind of minuscule on the damage, but I think the Rapid is actually worse than this car. Rapid is like a feather lands on it and you're going to be worried. You might have to go restance. This thing you can at least get 1 or 2 good solid crashes in it and still keep drifting. So that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Appreciate everybody that's still tuning in to this point in my episode. I really do appreciate that, guys. Seriously. You guys that actually watch all of the episodes, I had some people that were like trying to get me to come and join their parties and they're like, yeah, I can't even watch your whole video. Literally told me that and I was like, ugh. I don't know what to say to that. Like, I wish I knew what I could do to change that and whatnot. I'm trying to give you guys the most information that I can in the least amount of time that I can. And I know a good, hearty chunk of you guys support the hell out of that notion. However, some of you guys don't understand it or just, I don't know, expect 2-minute videos instead of 12, 15-minute videos, whatever it is. I don't know, guys, but I appreciate every single one of you, no matter who you are, what you're doing out there. I appreciate you liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing these videos. If you are sharing these videos, you know sharing these videos is ultimately, it helps this channel grow and grow and grow. You never know who's going to see it and who's going to share it more, and you never know where it goes from there, right? That's right, guys. As always, I hope you stay happy, stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.